The objective of this book launch is basically to also share that we have a renowned writer. His name is Dr. Devinder Singh Chahal, and he reigns from Canada. So some of you may have actually seen him or heard of him or even read his books. Dr. Devinder Singh Chahal is actually a scientist, microbiologist, and he has been an ardent, you can say, fan of Guru Nanak. And he has actually dived in and delved in very deeply to break all the paradigms that we've had, Guru Nanak kaun si. Guru Nanak di huna, his, you can say, strong points, ki san. What we've been told by the clergy, the granthis and the, pracharaks, is not even the tip of the ice. We would like to call upon Veer Paji, because he has actually been giving space in the Asia Samachar, for the writer to share his views. So, Paji, please come and share a few notes about Dr. Devinder Singh Chahal. Thank you, Ji.
Thank you for the invitation. In view of the esteemed audience before me, I prepared some remarks, which I normally don't do. But let me begin with one question. How well do we understand Guru Nanak? Okay, let's start at the beginning. For the longest time, most of us have got his date of birth wrong. Me too. I've been involved in Sikhi affairs, in the thick of things, and even I didn't really realize when actually was he born. We just went on with what I used to call the hand-me-down Sikhi. I'm a product of hand-me-down Sikhi. It was Dr. G's first class. People like me who had been involved in Smelans and Gurmat camps, and I was even the editor of the Sikh magazine, collecting articles and putting it out there, that we first sat down and say, wait a minute, what is actually Guru Nanak trying to tell us? It was in those classes that we actually went through some systematic, step-by-step understanding of Guru Nanak. Now, Asia Samachar, of which I'm one of the founder members, we run articles that can be critical, out of the box kind of thinking, stuff that Dr. Karminder and many others have written. For that, I have been harassed. My wife, Jasrinda, at the back there, she has been harassed. Our kids were harassed by schoolmates, Sikh schoolmates. This is the state of our Sikh nation today. This is where we are at. So in that light, this new book is timely. Professor Devinder Singh, if I may just quickly go on him a bit. He's, as mentioned, he's a scientist. He's 92 years old now, but he retired in 1996 as the Professor of Applied Microbiology. Among many things, he discovered 2 new species of fungi. He has written 3 scientific books, 1 lab manual, and many chapters in various scientific books. Now, impressive resume on the professional side. There are many Sikhs who have that as well. But what sets Professor Devinder Singh Chahal apart from many of the others is his passion to get a handle on Guru Nanak and his teaching. Professor G has been relentless in his efforts to decode what Nanak stands for. That is why if you go to his websites, you will find many articles and many books, and he has made many of them available free online. He's massive. In that sense, he's massive. I got to know him on Gurmat Learning Zone. This is an internet discussion group that is still running today. That's where I bumped into Professor G, and being a person running Asia Samachar, I communicated with him, can we run your articles? He was very willing. He gave us his articles, gave us permission. For this book, he even gave us one of his articles before it was published. So our website had carried his article, Sikh, Sikhi and Sikhism. One of the chapters here, we actually published it at Asia Samachar months ago, before the book was published. Now, Professor G, just to, since I got to know him, at this age he is facing some health challenges. This is one of his emails that he wrote in Gurmat Learning Zone last year. Being a disabled person, I can spend only 1 or 2 hours on the computer for research and writing about Sikhi. I make many mistakes while writing. However, my computer helps me correct my spelling and also my grammar. And he also told me in another message that his daughter, I think, also helps him to go through his work and all that. But despite that, he is still active on that Gurmat Learning Zone, and he's still actively involved until he is able to manage to get this book out. That part, he's very impressive. Now, I went through the book, and what are the crux of his arguments? Very simple. I will put down in 2 things. Number 1, he argues Sikhi is logical and scientific. Number 2, he says that Guru Nanak's philosophy is valid in the science age of the 21st century. These are the 2 things. So if you are a follower of Guru Nanak, you have an ally in Professor G and his work. This latest work is an updated version of his previous book, Nanakian Philosophy. Now, when I first read that term, Nanakian Philosophy, I was not comfortable. And I'm still trying to get used to that idea, that term, Nanakian Philosophy. He explains it in this book, what he means by it, how he goes about it. But we are creatures of habit, so it's not easy to accept and adopt something that we are not familiar with, that we are not exposed to earlier. And maybe that is also the reason why majority Sikhs today are still not clamoring to change Guru Nanak's birth date to his actual day, which is Vaisakhi. But that is a lesser part of our challenge. The more immediate and pressing challenge is to ensure that we understand Guru Nanak correctly. Just like this class, I believe this book is a good tool for that process. Highly recommended.
Thank you, Paji, for having to share insights about Professor Davinder Singh Chahal. One thing I just wanted to also mention, that Professor Saib actually is handicapped and he's not able to do basic functions with his body. He's so excited, that he has selected and chosen Malaysia to do his book launch. क्योंकि उन्होंने पता है कि गुरु नानक दे ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪਿਆਰ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ ਨੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਨੇ ਮਲੇਸ਼ੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ. So without having much time taken, I would like to just see that video.
I am very grateful to Dr. Gurminder Singh Dhillon for accommodating the launching of my book Nanak and his philosophy during his seminars on spirituality. The background of my book is that Hardev Singh Shergill, the then editor of the Sikh Bulletin, was publishing my articles in his journal. Jesse Skill of New Zealand, an expert in all religion but an atheist, was reading my articles and he was incredibly impressed. I sent my book, Nanakian Philosophy, Basics for Humanity, to him. He was very much impressed and he told me that it needs to be read by English-speaking people around the world who are unfamiliar with the Gurbani and Punjabi. This book has been revised with the application of logic and latest information, scientific information, and every chapter is well illustrated with the figures, pictures, and it has been published by Singh Brothers, Amritsar. Many Sikh scholars, including Western scholars, think that Guru Nanak founded Sikhism, a religion. In fact, that Guru Nanak never founded any religion. He founded Sikhi, and he has explained that Sikhi as Sikhi, Sikhya, Guru Vichar means Sikhi is the teaching based upon the enlightening philosophy. And this has been discussed in a chapter, Sikh, Sikhi and Sikhism. And the first three chapters of this book are about Guru Nanak. First chapter, who is Nanak? The most crucial event in his life is that he, at about the age of 9, he rejected Jnevu and he rejected the Hindu religion. And he never accepted any other religion in his life. It's well known among the Sikhs and the Hindus that Nanak is the Guru, but very few people know that it was Guru Angad, Guru Amardas, Guru Ramdas, Guru Arjan, who accepted Nanak as their Guru in their Vani. And Guru Arjan has declared him Satguru, Sabse Vadda Satguru Nanak Jin Kal Rakhi Meri. And he has explained that Satpurkh Jin Janiya Satgur Jiska Naam. If Nanak is the Guru, then who is his Guru? Siddha asked Nanak during the discussion with Nanak, and Nanak answered, Sabda Guru Surtun Chilam, that my Guru is Sabda and my consciousness is its disciple. Guru Nanak again explained that what is the Sabda? Jatvara Tiri Shriyar Aranmat Vedatyar Kadiye Sabdati Taksar. So this is the system that the Sabda can be constructed, and that is the Sabda of the Guru of Nanak. And then first page of the Adi Guru Granth Sahib starts with a symbol or the logo of God, followed by 9 attributes of God. That is the logo, I call it Eko Vyant Satnam Karta Purush Nirpo Nirvair Kalmurit Ajudi Sahibhan Gur Prasad. So many people call it as a Mool Mantra or Mangalacharan. In fact, it is not a Mool Mantra or Mangalacharan. It is the first phrase, and it should be called a Arambak Vak. In English, I call it commencing verse. Then the logo of God has been constructed by Guru Nanak by taking one from the numerals and open Uda from the alphabet of Punjabi language, and the extended end is from the geometry to indicate infinity. Open means O, so I call it Ik O Vyant, and in English, one and only, the infinite amount of energy. So this one of this logo is equivalent to singularity or nothingness, and Guru Nanak called it Nirgun Sun state, and this one expanded into the universe as it is called Kitapasao Ekokwa Tesyohe Lakhatryo. So this Ik is one from the logo, and the Kvam is the energy. So this one means the energy, and this energy, this one expanded into the universe. It is very similar to the Big Bang theory. Again, Guru Nanak has confirmed that God is nature. Nanak Sach Datar Sanakat Kudrati. Spinoza and Albert Einstein also accept that God is nature. In fact, the God of Guru Nanak is pantheistic, not monotheistic. Hukam. Hukam is generally accepted as the will of God, but it is law of nature and universe. Everything, every action and reaction in this universe are going according to the law of nature. And Guru Nanak has explained very simply, Hukme andar sabko baar hukum na koi. So I will discuss the cosmology and science, and cosmology and Nanakian philosophy. And it is very much comparable. Then there are mantra system and the Naam Japana. In both, Guru Nanak has rejected them. And then we come to the food fads, that one people eat meat on a Tuesday and the other eat on Sunday. Some don't eat meat at all. Guru Nanak says that the ignorant people fight about the eating of meat or not, and it has been explained as मांस मांस कर मूर्ख झगड़े ज्ञान ध्यान ना जाने कौन मांस कौन सा कहावे किसमें पाप कमाने. Plants and animals both have the life. Killing of which one would be the sin. Then he has given a best formula about eating. Baba और खाना खुशी खुआर जित खादे तन पीड़िए मन में चले बुखार. Let your body and mind decide which food should be eaten and which should food not be eaten. Then there is a question of whether there is life after death or there is heaven or hell. Guru Nanak has rejected heaven or hell, and there is no life after that. And this is the life. You have to get the best use of it. In the last chapter, I have collected all the basic principles of Nanakian philosophy so that 21st century can use them while discussing philosophy of life and the religion. At the end, I would say that Guru Arjan has summed up the philosophy of Guru Nanak as follows. Nanak Satguru Petiya, Puri Hoye Juga, Asindya, Kalendya, Panendya, Kavendya, Viche Hoye Moksa. If you follow the philosophy of Guru Nanak, that is the right way, that is the right Jugat Dya, Kedya, Kandya, Pindya, ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮੁਕਤੀ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ. My last words, if anybody want to know real Nanak and his real philosophy, he must study Nanak and his philosophy, and which is being launched today by Dr. Karminder Singh Dillon this evening. Thank you very much.
The fact that a book was written by a Canadian Sikh, published by a Canadian outfit, printed in India and launched in this forum, that itself is an honor for all of us. It's an honor for Malaysia, as Amarjit Ji said. It's an honor for Gurdwara Sahib Subang, an honor for Sikhi Vichar Forum, and an honor for all of you participants of this Understanding Gurbani seminar series, Understanding Gurbani for yourself, by yourself. This book and its launching is especially relevant to our seminar series because here in Professor Chahal we have someone who has attempted to understand Sikhi, Gurbani for himself, by himself. The author is an enlightened Sikh, a talented researcher and an accomplished writer. As Amarjit Singh said, he is a scientist. He has served as the head of microbiology at the Punjab Agricultural University in Ludhiana. He has been a Fulbright fellow at MIT Boston. He has been a visiting professor at University of Waterloo in Canada and professor of microbiology at the Institute of Armand Frappier in Canada until the day he retired. He also founded the Institute of Understanding Sikhism in 1999. And he is the editor of Understanding Sikhism, the research journal. He has been honored by the Shromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee as one of the top 100 influential Sikhs in the world in 2012 to 2016. And he is an author of 7 books and literally hundreds of articles. These are some of his books. Understanding Jap, Nanakian philosophy. Then we have Nanak the Guru, and these are his other books. This one is practically very interesting, the second one, how we have regressed from Shabad Guru to Granth Guru. The Granth was never supposed to be the Guru. The Shabad was supposed to be the Guru. But because we needed something to worship, we needed something to offer things to, we converted it from a Shabad to a Granth Guru. So basically we have become sort of idol worshippers today, except that our idol is the Granth. So he writes about all that, and then he has done a translation of the Japabani. Now, beginning in 2018 July, Professor Chahal has become a handicapped person, as Veer Amarjit Singh Ji just told you. He had surgery on his neck and his lower back. So he has since been undergoing treatment and rehabilitation. The second photo, the one in the middle, is of him with a cap and a neck collar, with his physiotherapist, to whom he gave his book, Nanakian Philosophy, Basics of Humanity. This is when I visited Dr. Chahal at hospital just after his surgery in May of 2019. His son, Parminder Singh, a PhD, also an accomplished scientist, he took this photo. So at present, Dr. Chahal is bedridden. He moves about in an assisted manner, wheelchair, and he's unable to tie his turban and to handle his beard. So my point in bringing Professor Chahal's personal story here is to make the point that despite his surgery, despite his illness, despite his handicapped nature, he has not stopped writing, not stopped researching, and not stopped sharing the joy of the messages of Guru Nanak. So I suppose there is joy after all in wanting to get the real messages of Gurbani across to ourselves and across to everybody else. So despite all the setbacks that he has had, he has managed to produce this wonderful book. There are 21 chapters in all, and there are 2 forwards, and I'm honored to have written one of the forwards. The other is by another professor, Professor Devinder Pal Singh, who is the director of Center of Understanding Sikhism in Canada. So I just want to read out this one paragraph from my forward. I believe Chahal's work is a great service to the study of Guru Nanak, the study of Sikhi, and the study of Gurbani. This is because once you look at all these 3 areas as clustered under the overarching term Nanakian philosophy or the philosophy of Guru Nanak, then we will have no choice but to get to the wisdom and the messages of Guru Nanak. For this alone, Professor Charles' work as presented in this book is worthy of our attention. Thank you for your kind attention, everybody. I take pleasure in launching this book, Nanak and His Philosophy, authored by Professor Devinder Singh Chahal of Canada. And I would like to invite the organizer of our seminar series, Sardar Pritam Singh Ji, to come over here and hand over the first copy of this book to the President of Gurdwara Sahib Subang, Sardar Balwinder Singh Ji. Can Sardar Balwinder Singh Ji, President of Gurdwara Sahib Subang, kindly come forward to accept this book from Sardar Pritam Singh Ji.
Sri Ram.